Newsmax TV's coverage of America Votes 2016, the New York primary, rolls right along on this Tuesday night. And let's take a look at what happened in the Empire State, electorally speaking, in tonight's vote. And you can take a look first at the Republicans. A good night, and that's putting it perhaps mildly, for New York native Donald Trump, the Republican frontrunner, winning decisively. 91 of the precincts reporting Mr. Trump with 60% of the vote. We'll see how it all breaks down if he meets the 50% plus one vote criteria, not only statewide, but in each of the congressional districts to get all 95 of New York's delegates. John Kasich in second place at 25%, Ted Cruz at 15%. Across the aisle for the Democrats, former New York Senator and former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton wins by a healthy margin. 92% of the Democrat precincts reporting in, 58% for Mrs. Clinton, 43% for self-described Democratic Socialist Bernie Sanders, the senator from Vermont. We continue our conversation with two guests who always bring interesting ideas to the table. First, the former Lieutenant Governor of New York, Betsy McCaughey, and the former political advisor to Donald Trump, Republican political consultant Roger Stone, both Skyping in tonight from New York City. And we return to the telephones now for a call from out west, from California. Let's welcome Tess to our America Votes 2016 coverage. Hi, Tess. Welcome to Newsmax TV.
Thank you for taking my call, JD, and hello to Roger Stone and Betsy. I'm really happy that Donald Trump won the New York primary, and I'm from California, so I'm very excited for him to for a chance to get the primary vote in Donald Trump. I'm a legal immigrant. Our family came in here in the United States in the 80s. And we waited 25 years to get here, to get our turn to come to the United States. We work hard. I'm very, very conservative Republican, but I'm voting for Donald Trump, not Ted Cruz, because we're tired of the politics of the establishment, either Democrats or Republicans. We want somebody who actually fights for the American people who came in here legally. Okay.
And Tess, you played by the rules, and obviously you're preparing to vote for Donald Trump in the June 7th primary, and that's going to be very interesting as we watch the primary calendar wind on down with the huge state of California and all those delegates hanging in the balance on June 7th. Let me turn to Betsy McCaughey, and we heard what Tess had to say, and this has been very interesting to me to see so many in the East incorrectly talk about the myth of the monolith. If you have a Hispanic last name, then instantly you've got to be for open borders and amnesty. There's a sizable group of people who played by the rules, like Tess and her family, who are fed up with illegal immigration.
That's right. And I want to say welcome to Tess and her family, because America is very open and very welcoming to people who respect the rule of law and come here legally. And Donald Trump has made it very clear that he believes in that too. And I think we can all share that value.
Roger Stone, to the whys and wherefores, and I know that the Trump team is celebrating tonight's win in New York, but the primaries continue in the Northeast, and then finally June 7th out in California. Your take on what can transpire in that California primary, because a lot of folks seem to think that Ted Cruz might have an advantage in the Golden State.
Yeah, I don't see it that way, JD. First of all, let's recognize that now you're going to move to Pennsylvania, New Jersey. So it'll be New York, Pennsylvania, New Jersey. Trump will go into California with an enormous head of steam. There is no state in the country where celebrity means more than California. I think Trump's prospects there are actually quite good. The state is too large to organize on a precinct by precinct basis, and therefore free media is going to play an enormous role. I really think at this point it is virtually mathematically impossible for Ted Cruz to win the nomination on the first ballot, and I think he would find that if he could get to a second ballot, his new best friends, Neil Bush, Jeb Bush, and Mitt Romney, would drop him like a hot potato. So I think it's curtains for Lion Ted, as Donald calls him. He had a very bad night here, given that he did make an effort in the state, and he actually ran a poor third.
Let us go back to the phones. We have yet another caller from Southern California, where it's still prime time out west. Vietnam veteran by the name of Bruce is on the line. Bruce, we thank you for your service, and we thank you for your call in tonight here to Newsmax TV.
Well, thank you. And JD, you're doing a good job.
Thank you,
I agree
Bruce.
with what Tess said. I know many Mexican Americans that agree with her. And what I would like to say is, I have a question. If something happened in our country that was a natural catastrophe or an unnatural catastrophe, to where the president had to declare martial law, is it true that elections would be suspended?
Well, let's turn to someone with White House experience, Roger Stone. Executive orders that are in place, and this is a question that came up earlier tonight, suspicions and concerns about the incumbent and just what is transpiring in this country. Roger, to your best knowledge, what are the executive orders in place? If something like martial law were declared, would there be a suspension of elections?
Well, we are all speculating because, of course, any such plan would be highly classified and we wouldn't know. Frankly, though, to a certain extent, I'm concerned that the votes of the American people are being suspended even as we speak tonight. We have seen this pattern of the voters voting overwhelmingly for Donald Trump and then the Republican establishment machinery delivering delegates in those states to Ted Cruz. We've seen it in Louisiana. We've seen it in other states. And I think it is problematic. It's common sense that the votes of the American people should count. But in essence, many in the Republican establishment are telling us, in a sense, that those votes are advisory and they know better. The Republican National Committee man from North Dakota actually said, we're the party leaders, we choose the nominee. That's antithetical to our democratic process. So I think Donald Trump's exactly right. This is a very rigged process, and the establishment is petrified about Trump, and here is why. He's not beholden to any special interest. He's not controlled by any lobbyist or any billionaire or any super PAC or any special pleader. So he would be the only president in recent memory who actually answers only to the American people. And that scares the donor class, and particularly the lobbyist class, in the Republican Party to death. At the same time, I think it is what provides Trump's appeal to non-Republicans, to Democrats, to millennials, to first-time voters, for people who've given up on the process because they've become convinced that the system is rigged against the common man. So it's Trump's largest single strength.
And we have 1 minute left. The old saying is ladies first, but it'll be ladies finally. The last word to Betsy McCaughey.
Well, certainly the exit polls revealed tonight that in New York, Republican voters want an outsider. They don't want someone who's part of the elite in Washington, part of the party regulars. Frankly, of course they're choosing Donald Trump, but they'd rather choose somebody from the phone book than one of those insiders like Jeb Bush. And so I agree completely with Roger that there is going to be extreme discontent across this nation if the insiders rig it to deny the nomination to Donald Trump.
And we will have to leave it there. Betsy McCaughey, the former lieutenant governor of the Empire State, and Roger Stone, the one-time White House aide, the former political consultant to Donald Trump, among others. We thank you both for your insights and analysis. And we will continue. In fact, as our program continues, it was a big night for the Republican frontrunner. And when we return, we will hear some of what Donald Trump had to say in declaring victory tonight as he won the New York primary in decisive fashion. That's ahead as our coverage continues here from Newsmax TV.